get on the show.
Hey, 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 yeah, hey,
Hey, Papa's gonna sing.
hey, yeah, hey, hey,
That stuff is
Hey.
so out of date.
Yeah.
Pull it, man. Papa's
yeah,
gonna sing.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Papa don't sing off,
No,
but he do sing me.
The first line of a blues is always sung a second time. You hear me talking, don't you, Rocky?
I hear you,
I
Papa.
said the
I hear
first line of a blues is always sung a second time. So by the time you get to the third line, you've had time to think of a rhyme. Now there ain't no law that says third line has to be different at all. No, no, no. You know there ain't no law that says third line has to be different at all. No, there ain't no law that says third line has to be different at all. Never borrow no mouth organ, not even from your best friend. No, no, don't do it. No, 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 no. Never borrow no mouth organ, not even from your best friend. 'Cause you may survive the blowing, but the sucking's gonna get ya in the end. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I have to say to people, for those of you who want to become skaters, if you want to just do it for fun and enjoy it, grateful. When we were coming up, it was something that we didn't know we were going to go to a level of
Right, we sure
television and film.
We sure
we
did.
didn't know. There were
Yeah.
people watching us and they grabbed us.
Yeah.
And, my background as far as performing, I started playing basketball on a unicycle.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother started this back in the 60s when they joined Ringling Brothers, the first King Charles troupe.
Mm-hmm.
Then they became the World Wheelers when I came in. I started traveling early when I was 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
So, coming from that background, and it was just, for me, it was something that I loved doing. And
Right.
it was a hobby, but it became more than what it's become. I
Sure.
didn't think I would be on Broadway.
Sure. Well, you certainly were.
And
I'm hoping that we're going to be able to show some stills at some point during the show.
Oh, yeah.
Of you doing that stuff on Starlight Express. Now, can you give us? Well, first of all, I want to say that I think that you went just about all over the world touring with Starlight Express, didn't you?
Yeah, I did the entire globe, but I also went on my own as a roller skater back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I toured throughout the entire European continent.
Okay.
And I had, some old papers, and I'm trying to find. But I did, I went to Africa, I went to Brazil, I went to I went international with it. So, it gave me a good, global acclaim with a lot of people. But what I was doing, I was just out there enjoying it. And
Sure.
doing a lot of
It's an
inspiration.
enjoyable thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good health thing for you.
Yeah, it's a good enough thing. Keeps you fit, keeps you young.
Wow,
And we have a wonderful family of roller skaters that we've met throughout the years, and we're still in contact.
Yes.
And we skate together whenever we get the chance.
Exactly. We're a big society, and no one knows that we created a big family. It's really like a secret society if you really look at it. And
that's why we're doing the show, so people can understand that roller skating is still alive and well in New York City.
Oh yeah.
So,
and it's a big inspiration to people around the country, because what they're doing now is what we've created back then. So it's a good thing to see.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing to see that people are doing what we've done before, and if they're
is a
talking
good
about,
feeling.
we just created these moves, and I sit back and I laugh. I said, no, you did not. No, you did not.
Yeah.
It came from where people have to do their history. It's just like music.
Yeah.
Rappers today are taking the hooks or 4 bars off of records from back in the old days. No,
Yeah.
just renew it themselves.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. History repeats itself.
It sure is.
It repeats itself in everything from dance, music, you got it, film, and everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good thing that we
Yeah.
created something, and this is for this show and for everyone to see, to understand that if you want to know the history, New York City is the birthplace of roller skating.
That's right.
For roller dance.
Yes.
Roller disco.
Yes, modern roller dance. So now, roller skating took you other places as well. I mean, you had some experiences in Hollywood and television. There was one particular experience in Hollywood that I want you to tell everybody about, because I thought that was fabulous. Because just to preface the story, when I saw you on television in this particular movie, I hadn't seen you for a few years. And you know which one I'm talking about.
Which one?
I don't want to say. You know, the one about the brothers.
Oh,
okay.
the
I hadn't
Jackson.
seen you for a few years.
Yeah, okay.
And suddenly you popped up on the screen. I was like, whoa. So tell us about that, how that happened, and what was it like doing that?
Well, skating did a lot of good entry for me as far as getting in the industry, because, my understanding growing up when I was doing variety shows, unicycling, they said you have to know how to sing, dance, and act.
That's right.
Everything you can on skates, and everything you can otherwise if you want to, become part of Hollywood. And I left, after I finished touring with Starlight Express, I went, I had met a woman, she was a manager, and she got me to go to California. Got into a couple of films like Street Night with Jeff Spiegman, and before that, I ran into Bill Murray, and I worked on his film called Quick Change, and that's what got me to go to L.A.
Okay.
A few films before that, a couple of co-starring roles, and then all of a sudden, before working with Sammo Hung on his television show called Martial Law.
That's right, you did work on Martial Law.
Yeah, and I also did Baywatch, and I
Right.
also worked on this television series called The Burning Zone, who was the same producers of X-Files. All that time, the Jacksons came along. And it was funny, I just finished working
The Jacksons, a true story or life story,
yes,
whatever it's called.
The Jacksons, an American Dream,
Right.
the miniseries about the Jackson
Right.
5. And
you played?
Tito.
Okay.
I played Tito from 15 to 30.
Okay.
So think about a guy at, well, I have to say my age? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well.
When I was 26 years old, I played a 15-year-old kid all the way up to 30 years old. It was great. So
Because you look younger than you are now.
yeah,
So that's how it happens.
No drugs, no drinking, just stay fit.
There you go.
Let me see. So my agent called me at the time. She goes, "Oh, guess what?" And I said, "What? You just got called." I'm like, "Well, who saw me?" And this lady named Suzanne DePass that called for me. I said, "I didn't know." Well, for the Jackson 5. The Jackson 5? I said, "What?" Really? So I was like, "Okay." And, the agent was so hyped up about it. So I said, "Look, okay." I went on audition.
That was a big deal, Angel.
It was a big deal. So I went to the audition. There was Jermaine. There was Margaret. There was Katherine Jackson. And there was Suzanne DePass.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. So I had to read. And this is funny because, read. And there's Jermaine behind Margaret. And I read to Margaret because I was reading to, the part of Tito Jackson's wife, Didi.
Yeah.
So I went off to Margaret and who was it? Suzanne said, "No, you read to us." I said, "Oh, I thought you meant to her." They thought I was trying to come on. I said, no. So it was good. So, I mean, I didn't know. At the end of the production, as we shot, Karen Arthur, who was the director, said, "You were already picked before you even came in." I'm like, wow, I didn't even know. And my understanding was Janet Jackson who picked me out for Tito. That's
See, this is
that's
interesting background. I never knew any of that stuff.
I didn't know either. But it wasn't easy because working with Michael Peters, I mean, his soul rest in peace, a great choreographer, and I also met Debbie Allen on the set. Michael Peters, we were rehearsing, dozens of dance routines.
Sure.
On that set, going back from the 60s, the 70s till up to part of the 80s, the Victory Tour.
Yeah.
Michael came around on the set, which we didn't get to see him as much, but we got to see with Janet.
Mm-hmm.
And before, to go back, not to take long, before I got this production, I said, if I'm going to do this film, I need to meet and be around with the Jacksons, and that was one request.
Okay, I was going to ask,
Yeah.
did you have any interaction with the family?
Yeah, the entire
and to what
family.
degree?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're talking about, I was sent over to the Encino House, sent over towards Neverland, but more or less I hung around with Tito a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He was living up at the time when we were filming in Oxnard, California.
Mm-hmm.
And I met his sons, I met Didi, his
Mm-hmm.
wife. So, getting to know, if you're especially living the life of a pioneer
Right.
in the industry, you
Right.
got to know that you have to know this person. I want to know his character. I want to know everything. Notes and everything on a piece of paper is not one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Being actually with that person,
Sure, and understanding and feeling.
exactly.
Absolutely.
And I got to see everything. I mean, I went into his home. He had a beautiful home off the river. And I'm gonna tell you something. All his guitars were on the wall.